All right. Let those notifications go out. We made it. I said, I was standing in the checkout line and I said, well, as long as we can make it up by 3:30, 3:40, we're good to go. All right. So we are here. I got a message for y'all. And yeah, because, the Heavenly Father had me look up and over on my walk this morning. As I'm looking around and things like that, I'm not looking down at the ground the whole time. No, but I was looking, keeping an eye on where I'm going. But he said, he shifted my gaze to a truck going by. And it said, New Start Thrift. And I went, oh, there's the message. New start. God said, new start. I was like, oh, that's the message today. So we're going to dive into that because I also have story time. Yes, I do. Story time to share with y'all for your inspo more about how God works. Okay? More about how God works. Share with y'all for your inspo. Because once we get a handle on how God works, we understand better why he guides our steps the way he guides our steps. So I need to grab a couple of items to give y'all a visual because I've shared, let me grab it before I forget. We'll get the formalities out of the way here in just a second. Yes. Because there are things when we are delivered out from under, when God delivers us from toxic environments, right? God delivers us from evil all the time. But while we're in a particular season, in particular location, God has he has a get thing in preparation for something later on. But we don't know that yet. See, that's the thing, is that we don't know that yet. But this is what God revealed to me about my little thing. Okay, because this used to be when I took water in with me to the last toxic workplace, and they were easily able to put salt in my water, so I had to put this away for a season or so. But he had me put it in my cupboard with my other workout stuff. So I was like, okay, because I could have gotten rid of it right then and there, right? I could have just said the heck with it. I don't need that. But God, I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequency poisoning for healthier living. Trauma healing and spiritual growth occur with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true technique, and more here and at CDHRWDRMD. The link to the Academy is in the description below. Some of you may need to copy and paste the link to view what CHAAcademyBTBW.com offers to help you level up your trauma healing and spiritual growth. And as we announced yesterday, the course, How to Detox from Trauma Nutrition course is now available. Yes, where we've been talking about that detoxing in the Let's Just Chat lives, and some of y'all have joined us on the journey. Yes, I'm with you. Okay, I'm on it too. This is my third go round. So as of February of 2024, I'm on my third go round with it. The difference with this one is I had another incident, but it was a blessing in disguise because as I go through the physical rebirth, in a way, God is revealing things about the autonomic nervous system that I'm going to be bringing with y'all. Okay, I've been sharing some things with you all, but also how the radio frequency plays a role in all of the traumatization to the autonomic nervous system and then to our brain. Okay, and how the radio frequency also manipulate our brain chemistry. More on that another time. But it all ties into traumatization with narcissism, the game of narcissism on the world stage. Everything, all together, it's all tied Okay, it's all connected because the enemy knows that salt is the body's thermostat, so he's using radio frequency to keep the body hotter on the inside than it needs to be. You can't think straight, you can't think clear, you got all this excess mucus up there and other things going on, right? And the autonomic nervous system's just a little bit numb, so you're not aware of it. Okay, so just hang tight, because God says new start. Okay, chosen one, when he awakens us to all of that, God says new start. This is what I said before, that when we get into the spiritual awakening, we go through the season where, sure, we're going to sit there and go, wow, a lot of time, our life, we start thinking that our life was nothing but a big waste of time with these narcissists. I don't want y'all thinking that. No, God said new start. Because remember, we got to renew that mind, right? Okay, so to be transformed by the renewing of the mind. Well, how are we going to go through the renewing of the mind if we're still in an upside down matrix, right? That's right. Not going to work. Because in order for us to continue to keep doing all to stand upright in the Lord, God had to turn everything back around into the upright position so we can see what's really going on. In the demonic realm, in the spiritual. So once we're able to start doing that and then properly discern, that's right. God says new start. Put that in the comments below, somebody. Some of y'all put that in the comments. That God says new start. Because that's what happened. And so I know this is why God had us co-create with him CDHA Academy and Consulting for Heightened Awareness and all of that, because we're a growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. Because God knew that y'all were going to be looking for a community to join of like-minded, you see the spiritual too. Then some of y'all been in the spiritual awakening longer than me. And you were looking for, right? Yeah, you were looking for what now, right? Yeah, I get it. Been there. Because I was like, okay, Heavenly Father, it's in your hands. What next? Said new start. So we're starting over, but not from scratch. That's the beauty of getting to God's reality and in the spiritual awakening, is that we're not starting from scratch. No, we're starting from experience. Yeah, lessons learned. And so we go, okay, we have more lessons to learn, don't forget. Even when you get in the spiritual awakening, it's still another learning curve. For example, today, God has us slowly but surely doing a few videos here and there in the car again. And he's like, okay, yeah, but the strategy is different. Because he had me go through remembering how we were doing things. Okay, I mean, it's like, well, you remembered, but he walked me step by step because I'm looking at the clock, and he's like, yeah, ever since I worked at that last 9 to 5 or toxic workplace, my body, my body, and because of human nature, we're creatures of habit. And so when we got here and got settled, everything, we were basically operating on the same schedule that we only knew. You see? So I was like, okay, this got to change because we don't have to do things like that anymore. New start. So powerful. New start. So what did God say? Okay, he said, this is because of things that were going on in the other environment. And so I had to pack that little bag. I had to take the whole vlogging kit with me. I had to take several different notebooks for all the different social sites that we wanted to post across. And then 3 to 5 YouTube videos to schedule out. And so, yeah, we were just staying busy. We were staying busy because we did not want to allow ourselves to get drawn into or sucked into their chaos and drama. Okay? So, but now, now, we don't have to do things like that. Remember what I shared with y'all, that if you, this is for somebody. If you're out of place, remember God replants you. And if you're at a place where, okay, you were doing things a certain way and you're trying to get back to doing it that way in the new place, but it's just, one foot in, one foot out. It's not happening because God says you ain't got to do it like that no more. Okay, that's what he told me. He was like, honey, child, stop. He said you ain't got to do it like that anymore. I was like, oh, that's true. I don't. But I had to figure out, it's like, okay, he changed my social media strategy several times since being here already, switching things up. But he also laid the foundation with that. He said, that's just a guide. I want y'all to understand that. When God gives you a structure of sorts, okay? Yes, hello. When God gives you a structure of sorts, okay, I want y'all to know that it's going to change from time to time. And LJC means let's just chat. Okay, that is for let's just chat. For anybody who's wondering. Okay, there you go. And hello, welcome. Yeah, I'll try to monitor my chats on the phone down there, but it's easier if I can see it pop up over here. All right, so God said new start. So he can give you a new structure. That's a new start. So, okay, all right. So he guided my step, reminded me, okay, so take from a little bit of that routine, kind of, sort of, structure. That's a better word. A little bit of that. In other words, how I started doing car videos, besides going to or after leaving the last toxic workplace, okay, on the weekend, okay, when I was not working, I used to take and do videos in the car when I had to run an errand. Like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. He said, you can go back to that. You're using that structure. So, like, if I've got to make a run to the store for something, he said, just do 3. He said, just do 3. 3 quick videos, and then go get your stuff and come on back. Okay? So, and he can change that up at any time too. I'm just giving y'all some examples. Because that's how I was like, okay, so we used to do it. He said, if you're going to keep that time slot that you have as if you were still leaving and going and sitting for 3 to 4 hours doing all those videos to schedule out, he said, if you're going to utilize that time slot for leaving, making an errand run, just stop and do a few, go in and get your stuff, come on back. You're not going to be out till 5 p.m. Okay? Now, I might from time to time, but it's just giving you an idea when it's a new start. So we're combining, okay, it's a new start on how we are structuring things. And so he said, yeah, but here's what we're going to do. Got to get more discipline, part of our new start. Got to get more discipline. He said, I understand we've been doing that self-assessment and things like that through the healing, okay, on the physical side of stuff. He said, but when that occurred, let's say you have a day, you're like, all right, we're going to go do a few quick videos while running an errand. He said, don't do it when you have more than one stop so that we can preserve time to get up here with y'all. Okay, and not only that, because I did not want to miss getting up here to give y'all this message where God said new start. Okay, hello, Chris, welcome. And so we want to go ahead and remember that when God said new start, that can be at any time. Okay, yeah, the awakening, when he woke us up from that sleepy cognitive dissonance coma, okay, so he could show us the narcissism going around, okay, the narcissists out here, the evildoers. So he starts revealing them. And so it was a new start, that moment too. That was a new start. And God will tell us. This is why we got to know his voice. And this is why we got to be paying attention for his instruction and for his wisdom and for his guidance. Because when it's a new start, God will switch it up. Think about it. You know how God is always doing a new thing. And then once it's done, it's not new anymore. It's new for a short time. But God switches things up like that. Because we don't want to become too predictable now, do we? See, because remember, the devil and the narcissist, they like predictability. because it gives them an opportunity to know about what time they can try to attack. All right, so with that being said, he said, before you do that, if you're going to utilize that time slot for taking off to run an errand and you want to do a few videos in the car, that's fine. But I want you to make sure before you do that you look on this to-do list. And if there's a podcast that you need to record, he said, I want you to have that done first. He said, I want you to have some stuff done in here first before you go do that. Because, right, that way I don't, going forward, continue to fall behind. All right, on our structure. Because it's mind shift focus, okay? It's a mind shift to focus. There you go. Mind shift, because I have to now shift between the spiritual and the physical to get some stuff done. I have to fit. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. And so God's doing that for me right now. He's like, okay, he said, now, talk yourself into it. Because when you are so laser focused on something, right, because we're so focused on healing the physical, right? We should be. But God said, you've made enough progress and you're going to continue to make progress. You are aware of this. You've been taking note about the autonomic nervous system. You've been, good about that. And so I need you to continue to just go forward. But we got to, I said, I want to. That's what I told him. I said, I want to get back to being a lot more productive than we once were. Like that last season where I was very productive. And even though I don't have to do things that way, I want to be that productive again. It's just this healing on the physical side had taught me how to develop more of God patient, the God-like patient, and then also how to become more aware of myself, and that we don't have to move that fast. It would slow down. And so we don't have to try and hurry and get everything done. So if there is something on the list that we don't get to by the end of the day, when we're done with everything, it's okay. It's okay, because that'll be the next day if God awakens us, right? New start. All right, so I'm going to share with y'all that God has us pick things up along the way, right? As I was getting to in the beginning. He has us pick things up along the way for a new start or new season, if you will. So I was looking at this because this is what he's had me powerhouse nutrition on my walks. The homemade soups and stuff like that can also be turned into juices. That's the beauty behind it. When you do a homemade soup, bunch of veggies and beans, and it got let's just say the texture and the thickness of a soup, nice and creamy. Well, if you put a little bit of that in one of these and then add water, now you have a juice. Aha! And so with my superfoods, okay, the green one today, the green superfood, not the one with the B8, but the regular, just all green. He had me fill that up, add water, and I got my juice. Go on my walk. And I was thinking about this. I said, Heavenly Father, I could have gotten rid of this when I found out they were putting salt in my water. He said, I know, but we didn't. And so I said, He said, yeah, because that's not what he needed me to get it for. Remember, God knows before we do. Of course, he is our Lord. So he planned it all out. He had this thing with my name on it. Yep, God had this thing with my name on it at the store when I went looking for something like this. Had me pick this one out. So I used it until, right? And I left some stuff behind. Yeah, we forsake all in the name of Jesus. For the name of Jesus. So I could have left that behind with a lot of other stuff that I did. But I didn't. God said no, he had me pack it. He had me pack it. So I was like, okay. And then I started using it, just putting water in it, taking it in the car. And he goes, mm-mm. So I put it back in the shelf. I could still have gotten rid of it, right? But when I first started walking, I was using this also with just water in it. But at that time, because of the radio frequency and the excessive salt that I had taken in from poor dietary decision for a little bit, it felt, right? My perception was off. So it felt bulkier than it really is. So I was like, that's not going to work. And God's like, okay, we'll go find you something else for now. But put that back in the cupboard. So, new start. When he introduced me to Powerhouse Nutrition Season. Because he knew where I was going to be at the exact day, the exact time, the exact moment where that was going to become a staple. And I've had this for several years before getting here. So that's why I want to remind somebody, y'all, that I want to remind you, for those of you who are unpacking that bag, and you may be wondering whether or not you got the stuff that you need to get started. That's why I'm telling you, you do. You have the things you need to get started. It's already there. God has us get this stuff sometimes several years in advance. And then he brings it back to us. It shows up. Look inside them totes. Yeah, look inside those closets. Look inside those dresser drawers. Hey, look inside your car trunk. I mean, it's there. What you need to get started, you already have. Well, as far as how much water for that, okay, cooking instructions. Basically, when I cook the beans or the black eyed peas are going right now, I've got a little bit above to covering them and bring them to a boil. And because vegetables tend to have liquid of their own, once I put the beans or the peas or whatever it is into a separate bowl, and I get ready to, I'll use that water to start. I take the peas out, I scoop them out, and I leave that hot water in there because the nutrient from the peas and the beans. I know some people will be like, huh? You want to get some new water. Why? Because it came to a boil. So whatever needed to cook out of it, cooked out. So anyhow, I use that water. And then I'll put the vegetables in that same pan. And really, how much of the vegetable you put in there, it just depends on how much you are going to eat on it over the next few days, right? Okay, so there you go. It's really going to be up to your liking, your portion. How often are you going to eat on it until it's gone? Are you going to be there to eat it? I mean, all those things. And so as far as carrots, a regular size bag, I personally would do the whole bag. If I'm going to do that, I'm just going to do the whole bag. I'll just cook them up and then see how many, see how much of that it makes. Now, if it makes enough to eat some carrot with a meal and then enough for a soup or a juice, awesome. That's overflow. So there you go. Bring it to a boil. And as for carrot, depends on how soft you like them. So really, it's going to have a lot of you. Now, as for zucchini, carrot, if you're going to put more than one vegetable in there, then maybe half a bag. Okay, so one thing of zucchini, one thing of a half a bag of carrots, depending on if you got the baby carrots or a regular carrot, and then for broccoli, you would just kind of portion them out equally as best you can among the different ones that you're going to put in it. So there you go. Okay, and you may find out pretty quick that you'll have a good bit of overflow, which is not bad. It's a good thing. So, yeah, I'm going to be working on some things for you all with all of that as well, okay? Because that's going to go along with our Patreon digital product line, our Patreon channel digital product line. So, thank you for your patience. But, yeah, in the meantime, I'll be glad to share some tips and things like that with you all, because it's really going to be your preference as to how many of each vegetable you want to put in there. And if you're doing just carrot juice and let's say you use black-eyed peas for a creamy base, you know, that's fine. You know, that it really, I would do the whole bag if I was going to do that. So you have choices. Yeah, in God's reality, in this new start, we have a lot more choices than we ever knew. That's right. That's the thing, the beauty of being in God's reality, and we get to see out here. Whereas when we were, before we knew anything else, and we thought we were limited on choices for things, right? We sure did. We got tricked into thinking that we didn't have as many choices out here in this world. Oh, there's a lot of choices. Absolutely. And so, yeah, it's amazing. And so I want to share another inspiring story with you all. Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Awesome. So another story I want to share with you all about how God works when he says new start. He's got all new things for his chosen one. He's got all new things for his chosen one. Yes, I said that for those in the back again. Okay, because it's important to understand that we have to learn to let go, right? This is all part of breaking trauma bond. And so a simple example I have is I got some toothbrushes that are actually more for children. And so God said, give her a load. Go get you some grown-up toothbrushes. A new thing, okay? He said, all new for you. And so long before I knew when I was going to move from the previous location, right? Long before I knew, I'm going to say at least a year or two, at least, because it had been that long. Because I was thinking about the things that I had on hand, dishes-wise and things like that, that were all given to me by previous narcissists. And I was just like, the more I learned about narcissism and the more I learned about how evil they are and that God said not to accept gifts from evildoers. And it means because evildoers have strings attached to their gifts. That's why. Okay? So that's why we don't, and not only that, I knew they weren't giving me that stuff out of a genuine heart. And so it just really takes a little while to let that sink in. But I was thinking, okay, well, I'm going to have to get started with something. And so this is what I have. And God said, honey, he said, I got all new for you when you get there. Okay. He said, I got all new. Okay, I didn't quite know what he meant at that time. But then I started taking business trips. Remember the video? For those who haven't seen it yet, okay, When God Speaks is in that playlist. And I talk about how when God introduces you to your new life with him, that's how he started doing it, through business trips with me, introducing me to smaller space living. So he had me go down to the garage in the previous environment and look at my totes, how many totes, how much stuff I actually have on hand. And he says, I need you to consolidate. But get started with consolidating. Even though he said, I got all new for you, he had to show me something. Because of the simple fact that, well, I wasn't going to leave all that behind because it would have been a burden on them anyhow. I did still leave quite a bit behind, but as far as, dishes, clothes, and stuff. And so God said, just take it. Take it. You're going to learn something. Because I had never drove a U-Haul hauling my car before. So that was a new experience, right? Okay. I look at it that way. And then rented a U-Haul van to get here after closing that case study. So I was like, okay. So I got some experiences and learned that, yes, I can. With the strength through Christ in me. Remember that, you all, chosen one. We can do all through Christ who strengthens us. This is how we do it. And so I got all of that stuff loaded up. I got it put in the storage unit. That's when we finally got to the hotel to figure more things out. And God reminded me. He said, I got all new for you. Because I kept telling him, I was like, I don't want to keep that stuff. At least not. I mean, now my clothes, yeah. He said, but you're going to go through the stuff. Anything that was given to you as a gift by one of the narcissists. That's what we'll get. Okay, quite a bit. So several trips to Goodwill. Yeah. Yep, several trips to Goodwill while I was doing the hotel hopping, looking for a place to live. And so I said, okay. He had me pick out. Well, he had it already picked out. Mind you, when I went to the place to inquire about the pull-out couch, it pulls out to a bed. When I went to inquire about it, because I had gone online, well, the one that was on the showroom floor had already been sold. But God, lo and behold, in the back room, guess what? God saved it for me. And the thing is, we live in a world where the narcissistic society is always wanting something new. Well, that's new to me. It was new for me. God says new start. Right? So it was new for me. It might have been a used one, but it was new for me. And they would not have been able to take it back if there was anything wrong with it. That's by law. So, okay, we're good. And I said, all right. He told me what the price was. And if I paid cash, we worked out a deal. I had that sucker delivered as soon as I got approved for here. I was like, all right, we'll have that delivered. Awesome. And during that, I was like, okay, storage unit. God said, leave that stuff there. He said, bring what you know is yours, like my electronics and my clothes that we're keeping, the shoes that we were keeping, and necessities, that kind of stuff. Makeup, obviously. Okay. And so God says, okay, but I got all new for you. He said, those dishes that were given to you, some other stuff that was given to you by those narcissists, he said, leave that in the storage unit for now. He said, I got all new for you. So on my way to inquire about that couch, there was a store that I went, oh. And God was like, I want you to go there. Okay, then. So between there and then another store, I was able to, actually 3 different stores, I was able to get all new, what God had picked out for me. There's your inspo. I'm telling you, yeah. Dishes, coffee pot, blender. Well, the blender's been replaced anew because the other one wouldn't. Never mind. Anyhow, and so he had all new. A pot and pan set, silverware, glasses, a mixing bowl set, stuff like that. He had all new for me. God says he's got all new for you too. But when it gets time for you to replant somewhere, he's going to replant you somewhere else when it comes time for that. Or he'll just get you resituated where you are. Okay? He said he got all new for his chosen one. All new. And then, of course, it's no longer new once I've had it for a while. But the point is that none of it came from a narcissist. None of it came as a gift from an evildoer. And so I feel much better about that, because I did not want to be hanging on to things, not because it would remind me of them, but just simply knowing that it did not come from a genuine heart, and that I don't even know what string could have been attached to that stuff. So, yeah. Right. And so once we got in here, we started getting settled. We said, okay, we got to get rid of that storage unit. We don't need it now. And so I started making more trips to Goodwill until we emptied out that storage unit and got rid of it. And here we are. So God said he wanted me to share that story again with you all, because some of y'all may not have heard it yet. But that's what he means by I got all new for you. Because he knew it was heavy on my heart to even want to bring that stuff in here from the evildoers. I just didn't want to do it. So there you go. Yeah, no, it was a dolly. When I got home, my car went on a dolly on the back. Remember, I drove, right, remember, for those who don't know, I used to drive a big rig, pulling a 53-foot trailer across country. So when it came time for me to make a moving plan, God reminded me of that. And I went, oh, there is absolutely no reason why I can't get the U-Haul and haul my car. Hello. I mean, it's a little different, but sure. I was like, I've got the experience. Yeah. So, yeah, I was loaded onto the dolly on the back. Hello, Laura. Welcome, welcome. Wouldn't mind being replanted. I hear you, fellow warrior. I hear you. You know, but God says new start when he awakens us. And so he also tells us when he has all new things. And I just wanted to share that info because of the simple fact that, you know, when God steps in and tells us that, it's like, okay. And then, of course, I don't remember it for a time. And then he reminded me when we got here, because it was a thing where I just did not want to have that stuff inside my apartment. I didn't want to have any of those gifts from evildoers in here. Now, mind you, God did have me keep the little, some of the office supplies that one of them did kind of give me for school. Because God, he said, that's useful. You're still using those. That's still serving a purpose, right? Yeah, if it's still serving a purpose, but that's really about it. That's the only thing that he had me hang on to. He even had me go so far as to get a new index card holder because the other one was, it was so stained with nicotine, I had to get rid of it. So, you know, just know that. And then, of course, the things that God had me hang on to mostly are things that I bought. So he'll do the same for you. And when it's a new start, it's a new start. So I don't want anyone letting the enemy trick them into getting into a negative mindset, thinking that your years have been wasted because of the narcissist. No. God says, he says, when I awakened you, that's when life just begins. Because we start to get clarity for the first time in our life. Chosen ones start to get clarity when God awakens us to all of that. And we start researching more about this narcissism. And we get to that point where, okay, the worldview stuff, all right, that goes for a little while. But then, yeah, as God continues to reveal more, I'm like, hold up a second. Like, for example, going to the grocery store, and That happened today, by the way. I'm going this way, lady coming this way. And she is giving, she's watching me on that side. I was like, I'm like, okay then. So hey, chosen ones, you're not alone. We get that a lot. And we come to realize that the human host does not even know they're doing that. I know that I cannot tell you how many seasons it took for that to sink in for me. Like, that the human host is completely unaware that they're even doing that with the side eye or the evil eye, the Jezebels out here. They don't even know that they're doing that. But we can see because we've got that spiritual discernment now. So we can tell, and it no longer bothers us. It used to bother us because we didn't know what it was. Like, yo, I got something stuck in my teeth. What you looking at me like that for? Right? Oh, come on now. We did. We used to wonder, why are they looking at me like that? Now we know why. And that they don't even know they're doing that. Now, as far as the eerie, creepy stare when they first lay eyes on you, that's debatable as to whether they know they're doing that. I would have to say there's a yes to that part. Because they're studying you, right? That's what they did. They had to study us for a time. So, yes, we learn. Oh, Chris, see? God knew that somebody needed this. He knew y'all needed this message. Yep, conversation with yourself about a waste of time and energy on the narc and other, right? See, it is that, the Holy Spirit, I'm telling you, today's message, it was needed, and it's going to be needed again, because we all go through that season where we wonder about it, and we're trying to figure things out, and we're like, gosh, wow, we wasted a lot of time and energy with these narcissists. But God says we got to change that thinking. It's all part of the renewing of the mind. Yeah, he said we got to change that thinking. Because, exactly, you don't want to attract more of that. Okay? So, switch it up. Remind yourself, you know what? Lessons. We learned the lessons. We continue to learn lessons, but when it comes to that, we learned how not to behave, right? We learned what not to do. That's right. Okay, and we also learned, more about the trauma bond, more about the traumatization. We start to connect dots on the societal level with narcissistic abuse being dished out in the matrix, the control system. That's what it is. And so we're like, okay. And so we're no longer allowing ourselves to waste God's time. And we also stop letting them, the narc out here, waste God's time. If they come up and we spot them and they come up to us and start trying to, small talk or waste our time, we catch on a lot quicker going forward. Yes, we do, y'all. Yes, we do. Because God needs us to, so that we don't sit there and allow them to drain us of our energy anymore. That's what they want to do. They want to get you engaged in a long, drawn-out conversation. That's how they drain you of your spiritual energy. So let me share with you all, in one of the other stores today, because I'm wearing the warning expert. Yeah, here you go. Warning expert narc detector, right? Okay. I'm going down the aisle. There's a couple of workers standing there. One of the dudes was asking, because I had my pocketbook around, right? Part of, couldn't read the whole message with that in the way, but so he was like, he's like, warning expert what? And so I said, oh, expert narc detector. And boy, I would tell you, the expression on his face I don't even know what he said. It was so incomprehensible. Whatever it was he muttered, I did not catch it. But he had this really tight, scrunched up, like, laugh or smile on his face. And all I said was spiritual energy. So it made him very uncomfortable. Or better yet, his demon spirit, very uncomfortable. So I just kept on going. Went down the aisle I was looking for. So that's how quick they reveal themselves. Yeah, I know, amazing, huh? But that's how quick we spot them. By how they respond or how they react to certain things like that. Like, I don't even have to say nothing really. But because he couldn't read it, I did have to say expert narc detector. So I'm like, wow, didn't even ask me what a narc was. Did not even ask me what a narc was. Whereas I've had others who are not narcs ask me, what's a narc? And as soon as I would tell them a narcissist, they're, oh, okay. Now they, they're like, oh, they know what we're talking about. So keep that in mind. Yep, that t-shirt, it is a t-shirt called a narc reveal. Exactly. It's amazing. It is amazing. And I just find it to be fascinating. Just like the Just Say No to the Trauma Bond. I get met with toddler dancing eyes, but as soon as they read Just Say No to the Trauma Bond, they quickly turn away. I'm telling you, some of our t-shirts, y'all, are great narc repellent. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I'm not going to say it works on all of them, but a good majority of the time. And so for anyone who's wondering, yes, our drop shipper ships to other countries outside the U.S. as well. So yeah, we've got some fellow warriors who have gotten the God is the only validation shirt. Yeah, so I'm telling you, I know it takes courage to wear the kind of stuff out in public, huh? Know that we ain't got nothing to fear. Chosen one, there's no reason to be living in fear. So we know this. And so it's like, okay. So we can be who we are. All right, everyone, just know that. But when God says new start, yeah, new start. So a good example is like when you move to another state or another jurisdiction, and let's say like here in the U.S., I got to register my car, I got to get a new plate, I got to get a new license. So on the day that I took care of all of that, it was like, I was like, wow, kind of feels exciting for some reason. And I remember the lady at the desk said that because it's a new start. Yeah, it is. A whole new start. And I'm like, she don't even know that half of it, but yeah. Big time new start. In my own place, finally. Yeah. And so that way I can continue to serve the God Spirit in you all. Give you that info and that motivation to keep going, that no matter what the enemy tries to throw our way, that we are divinely protected by God. Somebody put that in the comments below. We are divinely protected. Say, I am divinely protected by God. There you go. Say, I am divinely protected by God. Because chosen ones, we are. We are divinely protected by God. Glory be to God. And so that's why God reminds us that, hey, the enemy can form those weapons all he wants to. But it ain't going to prosper. It's kind of like the enemy tried to throw the dart. But because we've got the armor of God on. There you go. That's right. Divinely protected. There you go, fellow warrior. We know we've got that armor on. And what are we told in Psalm 91, right? Yeah, can thwart the fiery darts of the wicked. That's Ephesians chapter 6. I'm paraphrasing, but, and then in Psalm 91, we're going to watch what? 1,000 fall by thy side, 10,000 by thy right hand, but none shall come nigh thee. Glory be to God. That goes right in line with no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. And anyone out there who tries to, that's right, who tries to talk bad about God's chosen ones, oh, he's going to take care of it. You better believe it. He takes care of it. Because I'll share with you all, okay, in the one toxic workplace, that last one that I was at, I can tell you now that if any smearing occurred, it was after I was gone. Because, right, oh, for those of you, this is great. Okay, because when I started working there, I was only on Quora, right? And not a lot of people know that Quora is like the nerdy kid in the back of the room with the book, right? So that was the only social that this ministry was on for a good while. So it took them about 3 months to find it, to find my Quora, because I didn't have Facebook at the time. I wasn't on social media while working there. They were trying to find out about me, right? Yeah. They were trying to figure out, who is this person? Why is she so different? As they were trying to love bomb. And so I was able to identify them one by one who was narcs, because during those 3 months, they didn't know how to act. But be the narcs they are. But as soon as they found my Quora, I knew it. Because except for the immediate supervisor, so except for him, the others in the office did a complete 180 with their behaviors. They sure did. Because I was sitting there going, I was like, all of a sudden now they're acting very, very different. Like on their best behavior. And I went, oh, I said, they found my Quora. It's too bad they didn't learn anything. But I just thought that was the funniest thing. That was the funniest thing. Yeah. Glory be. Well, absolutely. So, right. And y'all are going to hear this reminder a lot. For those of you who are, called to be content creators. All right, for those of you who do that. And, even if your assignment is local, I want you all to understand this, okay? When it comes to the tech world, social media gurus and things like that, not all of them, but there's a few of them I follow for how-tos, and they're very logical. Said the best way to grow is organically. Don't be buying supporters. Don't be buying followers. Don't be doing that. Because you want true blue supporters. Now, mind you, remember, real support versus fake support. Okay. What does fake support look like? Well, you'll learn real quick when you start having to promote stuff. That's right. It's kind of really cool because it's another way of testing the spirit. Because if you start to see people fall off, when you start advertising, that tells us right there that they were fake supporters. That they were never going to book a session. They were never going to buy our book or products. They were never going to pledge a service grant. They were never going to, exactly, you follow me, right? They never were intending to do that. You start advertising and they fall off. Because chosen ones, we understand that if you've got things out here we're not going to know you got them unless you let us know, right? And so not everybody's going to have an advertising budget. And then some of us learn the lesson the hard way about that with others out here who will do the clicking, right? And just run up drain your budget real quick. So it's best to go ahead and put together your own campaign the best way you can. God will guide our steps. And so we tap into some techniques out there. Okay? So that we can let y'all know what we got. Because if we don't tell you, you may not know. And I do encourage everyone from time to time to make sure you check out the academy. Right? Because we are growing. We're building in that sucker. Right? So, yes. So you got several courses. We've got a lot more things on the way for you. And I want to say thank you for your patience on this week's Fun Fact video and short Bible study in the community forum. Thank you for your patience because we had to roll out that course. Because God told me, He put it on my spirit for the detox course because we've been talking about it. And He said, okay, I know you keep giving them tips and the how-tos and things like that. He said, let's take all of that stuff and let's give it to them so they can follow along. And then ask any questions they may have. I'll still bring y'all additional tips. And I'm going to start doing them in the fun facts now that we have that course available for you all. And there's no quizzes. Right? Not every course that we design has a quiz. Okay? That's right. Not every course. How the Trauma Bonders Forum has fun ungraded. They're not graded quizzes to help you test your knowledge. They're for fun. They're for you. The 5P coaching course, no quiz for that. How to deal with toxic workers, toxic coworkers, that one does have a graded quiz. The beauty is you can take it as often as you need to get the passing grade because that is also set up for employers who would like to add that course to their employee training package. Okay, it's available for them too. So that's why that's set up that way. But then the detoxing course, how to detox from trauma nutrition course, there's no quizzes. No, it's just a short video lesson and a PDF download that goes with it. And the videos and PDF downloads, you hear me? The videos are downloadable too. Okay? So that way you can keep that for your reference. You'll learn more about that as well. And so we're always going to be bringing you on more stuff. Absolutely. This is part of the movement right here for healthier living. Because after all, with the trauma healing, right? And as you'll see in the mission statement for Consulting for Heightened Awareness on the website, right? I've got that linked on the homepage now, the mission statement on a different page. But you'll learn that we want to help people live their best life. Well, what's part of that? To live your best life is to live a healthier life. I'm not saying that you have to go all out and be I'm just making better choices food-wise so that we get the nutrients that our body needs for proper healing. Yep. All right, awesome. Okay, cool. Good idea, so you don't have to go through chosen ones. I know y'all ain't lazy. But the algorithm seems to be about censorship over promotion. Another reason why we got to get out here and promote. Yeah. There you go. Thank you for pointing that out. I had not even thought about that. But yeah, it seems as though, it is falling world out there, right? It's the Matrix. So, yeah. Yes, it is important info. Absolutely. So y'all aren't going to know unless I tell you. Right? That's right. Yes, you all are not going to know unless I tell you because A lot of these social platforms are more concerned with popularity, censorship. I want to tell y'all something, though, about that God revealed to me about censorship. Because he said that with all that hype out there about that, with censorship and stuff, that really nothing is being censored. You just have to know where to look. Like down the rabbit hole for one place to find out a lot of truth. You can always check Quora. I mean, you just kind of have to know where to look. Yeah. Because like I've said before, the radio frequency toxicity, it's out there. It's not a secret. And it's a good movement to have since we're aware of it and we want to live healthier lives. You feel better, right? You feel better all the way around. So each day we feel a little bit better, right? We're supposed to. And so as God does a new thing here, getting us out of the matrixes, let's just say 9 to 5 window. He's getting us out of that. So we're combining some things. Now, he did say that there may be here, that's just going to be what it's going to be. So we have to be flexible because God is a flexible God. Did y'all know that? Now you do. God is a flexible God. So he's not going to have us do right because God is not going to allow us to develop a comfort zone. Right. Go there. Exactly. We don't want to get tricked into a comfort zone. Because, that's where vision dies. And so when God gives us a vision, that's right, we got to put it on that board and start working towards that. Whatever it is, let God guide our step. Some of y'all have to get back into whatever it is, a talent and gift that you used to do that you want to get back into. That's some of y'all right now. So you just get back into doing it. Eventually, I will pick that guitar back up one day. Yes. God says, I'll get you there. So just know that God, he's like, okay, but that can wait. Well, that can wait. I want you to work on this. I want you to work on that. For example, a new start. God had me doing a new thing. He said, I want you to look at that beneficial list for the vegetable on your diet. I said, okay. And this was yesterday evening, which is why I had to run for errands today. He said, I want you to gear up. So remember, powerhouse nutrition season. So he said, I want you to look at the beneficials. He said, I want you to just do an all beneficial soup and juice mix. Okay. I'm digging it. Because I know from my blood type that steak, sweet potato, and broccoli, that's a beneficial meal all the way around. Okay. So God says, I need you to do more of that. Because it reminded me before when I was doing that, it works. It works to replenish the nutrients and help with the healing and things like that on the inside, biologically and physically. So, so when God pipes up and tells us, he's like, all right, I want you to do that. Yeah, see, the devil can't stop none of that. Because I don't care. That's why I end up having to go to 2 different stores. Because one store didn't have what I was looking for. Well, they had it, but I knew that the other one, I had to do a balancing thing there. So to get everything needed for that. And that's what that's what we're working on. And that's for you all too. That however it is that God tells you to do it, because that was a new thing right out of the blue. And I was like, oh, because I hadn't thought of it. Remember, our thoughts are not God's thoughts. That's it, right there. So God will have us do a new thing. Yep, he says new start. So there you go, everybody. Change that mindset. That if you find yourself sitting there engaging in that conversation with yourself about time and energy being wasted with narcissists, renewing the mind. All right, say, you know what? Hold up a second. See, God is a redeemer. I know some of y'all, God's redeeming the time already because he's giving you the time and space that you need to get some extra rest, to get some extra sleep. That's right. For the detoxing process. God's already doing that. He's already redeeming the time. And let me tell y'all something. For those of you who are waiting to get back into doing painting, drawing, singing, whatever it is, you watch, pay attention to how quickly God elevates you with that. Because you're going to pick it back up. That's what God put on the inside of you to do. And so you're going to start with what you remember, right? Okay, you're going to start with what you remember before you had to put it on the back burner because of the narcissist, right? And so you're going to remember, and you're going to start there. And then God's going to be like, all right, when God sees you putting that in action again, you will see how quickly he's going to elevate your skill with that. I'm telling you, just wait. You're going to come back after you start doing it and you start seeing improvements and new ideas and new designs and new things, whatever it is, new start, right? That God has you doing. You're going to come back and say, you know, Michelle, didn't Michelle tell us that he was going to do that? That's how quick. You know, God says he's going to hasten it on his time. So again, whoever needs this info, how it is that God hastened it on his time for us, take a look at one of my 2021 videos and then come back and watch one of the more recent ones with the editing. The pre-record. You'll see. Huge difference. Because the more we do, the more improved we get, right? We become. There you go. And so God will quicken it. So anytime the enemy tries to come back in, key word here. Anytime the enemy tries something else to see if he can steal, kill, and destroy, God said, hold on a second. Boom. God's even quicker with restoring. Because God sees that we are doing what he called us to do, that we are in obedience to God. So for example, as we go through these rounds of the detox, the symptoms get lesser and lesser, right? Yeah, until they go away completely. Remember, peeling back of an onion. So, right, and so I go, okay, hold on a second. Doing good, we're doing good. Then all of a sudden, another layer gets peeled off. And so I have a momentary, it's not a relapse. The enemy would want you to think that. But I have a momentary symptom that I'm like, hold up a second. I already overcame that several times. And God will remind me, but it's not. Yeah, it's even more minor than before. And it's very brief. See, God restores even quicker each time. Because it's like, hold on a second. He said, walk it out. And like, gosh, whereas several rounds prior, or a couple rounds prior, it might have taken maybe a full 12 hours to, and then the next one, maybe 5 hours. And then this last one, when we end, right, not even a couple hours, boom. Okay, we're good. Just to give y'all that perspective of how quickly God steps in and restores again. See, that's how God's doing it in steps to heal from within. Because remember, we're learning lessons along the way about our body. But God also is not going to just restore it all at once, because He's not going to put our body in a state of shock. He doesn't want His chosen. He doesn't want us doing that. So keep that in mind. Yep, there you go. God has been so kind to get out and put much needed sleep and rest. There you go. There you go. Absolutely wonderful. All right, you all. I'm looking at the clock here, and I know we got started a little bit later than we wanted to today, but God's teaching us too. He's teaching us a lot of this stuff and bringing new things to our remembrance. Well, not new things to our remembrance, but new things to our attention. There's the kids outside, y'all. Bringing new things to our attention. Revealing things that we didn't know were always there, but we just didn't know they were there. And then the spiritual, and then being able to discern between the two. And then we have to learn how to, we have to learn how to focus and shift focus between the two, depending on what it is we've got going on and that we've got to get finished in the physical. Oh, we're not done in the spiritual. That spiritual awakening, it's ongoing. That's why I invited y'all on this journey with us. Okay? So there you go. All right. As always, do not hesitate to reach out if you've got any questions, because that's what we're here for too. We are a growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. Iron sharpening iron at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, CHA, and CHA Academy. All the way around. All right, everybody. That's right. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA Let's Just Chat Show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center. Trauma healing and spiritual growth occur with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true techniques, and more here and at CHA Academy, BTBW.com. The link to the Academy is listed below. Some of you may need to copy and paste view what CHA Academy, BTBW.com offers to help you level up your trauma healing and spiritual growth. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Until next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.